BWF.
BWF broadcast. Tune it in. Keep it on your dial, wherever you are.
Hell yeah. All right. Thank you, sir. Ken Patera is a legend in pro wrestling. He is legit one of the top 5 living wrestlers I've always wanted to talk to. His career started in 1973 as a babyface strongman, but he quickly realized that he is a natural heel.
Took me like a dirty yard dog. Well, I'm going to tell you something, Weasel, and the Goon Squad.
Mr. Patera has wrestled in the WWE, NWA, AWA, and held both the Intercontinental and NWA Missouri Heavyweight Championships simultaneously.
Some determination, the will to win, brother. The man is unbeatable. 6'2", power.
Plus, he's known for having legendary feuds with Bruno Sammartino, Andre the Giant, and the Hulkster, Hulk Hogan, a name Mr. Patera tells me he came up with himself. We spoke to him during WrestleCon this year to talk about his new book, Weight of the World, Pro Wrestling in the 80s, and World Politics. But of course, to start it all off, we chatted with him about what brought him national fame as an Olympian, strongman competitions.
Then spikes, and there were some brothers that they'd tie a harness around their waist and then hook it to a horse and climb a ladder.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's intricate, for sure. Yeah, you gotta
I
cooperate.
don't know how they did it. I never saw it.
It's a very Canadian thing of like, what's the heaviest thing we got around here?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The livestock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you a fan of wrestling as a kid, like growing up? I did read a bit of your book. I got it this morning when you guys were down there. I got it from my buddy Oates, who you talked to on the phone there. So I did do a little perusing, and I was curious because your background is so athletic. It would strike me that maybe you thought wrestling was not a serious thing to get into before you got into it. Is that true? Do you think?
No, not at all. When I was 10 years old, my parents bought our first TV. That was 1953. And one of the only, and at that time, you had 3 networks. That was it. No cable, nothing like that, 1953.
Yeah.
And ABC, NBC, CBS. So when Portland All-Star Wrestling came on, that would come on 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock Saturday morning. And it was an instant hit. I mean, instant. Don Owens was the promoter. He very well liked. And so he for that, Portland at that time was a very small town, 150,000, 200,000 maybe. And so he hit the jackpot with Portland All-Star Wrestling. So us kids, myself, my brothers, and our buddies in the neighborhood, about 10 or 12 of us, watching wrestling every Saturday morning when it came on, 9, 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, we were just balls to the wall, slapping each other around and everything. It was great fun.
Yeah, still happens to this day. That's what kids are doing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, so what did your parents think of it as, you guys are young? Did they, was it too childish for them, or were they into it as well?
No. My dad watched it once in a while, but my mom could care less about anything like that. So anyway, we would literally have a battle royal in my parents' living room every Saturday morning. We'd bust up. The first month, I think we broke every piece of furniture in the house. We had a big house, a lot of furniture. And man, my mom used to get so pissed. She would start yelling in the kitchen, running through the house with a broom handle. And she come running into the living room, swatting us kids, you kids stop breaking the furniture. I warned you this and that. Yeah, so but it was all shits and giggles and fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought it was, but it wasn't with my mom.
No, that stuff, that's expensive stuff to be breaking, right?
Yeah, she had nice furniture, and she had always kept a tidy house. The house was always spotless, with 7 kids.
Yeah, that's the way it was. I mean, my family, same. My mom came from a household of 7 as well. So you did, you got interested in athletics a variety of ways. When you were talking to Aaron, you were doing pretty good with football until some jackass broke your foot.
Yeah.
And that jackass is responsible for Ken Patera as we all know him today. What did your parents think when you're a star athlete, you're accomplished in all these things, and you would go on to do it, but you're also deciding to get into pro wrestling when that eventually happens? What do they think about it?
My parents?
Yeah, like your mom and dad, like did.
My dad kind of thought it was intriguing, but I was a grown man.
Mm.
When I decided to get into pro wrestling, I was 27.
Yeah. So you were just talking to Mr. Ken Patera after a morning down at WrestleCon, talking to fans, exhausting for even the most energetic of us all. I was reading through your book, and where is it? You were talking about the beauty that you have, the beauty you found in being a heel. And I thought that it was interesting because I've seen other interviews that you've done where you refer to the fans as idiots, idiot fans. Now, you would see fans and some idiots, and you get them riled up with your heel antics. And I love it. Now, this is my first time going to a wrestling convention, and I got to say, I've seen a lot of wrestling fans down there that are idiots.
Yeah.
I agree. How does it feel to be talking to these people like for hours? Like they're coming up to you, they're asking you like, dumb shit like I am. Like, how is it? Do you enjoy talking to the people?
Very strange.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of going to LA first time. And I looked around, and my sister, she's 10 years older than me, she lived in Los Angeles back in the early 60s. And when she come home to visit up to Portland, she would once in a while refer to the people down there as the land of fruits and nuts. No, it was not 63, it was 53. 1953 when we first got a television.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of, refer to a lot of, wrestling fans are basically the same everywhere in the world. But then you find some enclaves that you find that they're exceptionally fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, exceptionally fucked up.
Yeah.
And people say, well, how can you decipher? And I says, it's easy. As soon as they open their mouth,
Mm-hmm.
what comes out of their mouth it's a dead giveaway that these people are so degenerate, and they just they have no life.
Yeah. There's a lot of hygiene problems.
Yeah, a lot of hygiene, and they're dressed their dress code isn't what it should be,
No.
and stuff like that.
Well, and then you gather them all into a place like this where there's a couple of thousand of them, and like I'm saying to Bishop, I'm half the time I'm just looking at the people, and like you're seeing the craziest guys in the world, and then you're seeing girls that look like they're in pornos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of them.
yeah,
I mean, a lot of them. I said, God, do these girls actually walk around the streets and you know, hang out with their parents looking like this, with the makeup and the dress and the way they carry themselves, shaking their ass, and the answer to that is yes.
yeah, I guess, eh?
Yeah, they actually are that way.
Yeah.
I mean, they are fucked up.
Oh, I mean, and well, because they got to cater to these guys that we were just talking about, but they got to, I mean, thank God, you don't have to present yourself the way that these women got to do for $1, you know? Because I mean, it's a hard way to make a living for sure, and it's fleeting too, right? Because you see some of the older ladies that have been doing it since the 60s and 70s or whatever, and it's like the wheels are barely on the bus at this point, you know?
Yeah, but majority of the wheels have fallen off, and miraculously they've used a silly putty to put the wheels back on the bus.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
So I was also reading in your book that you were talking about on a flight you got bumped into by a lady. This was right a year before the steroids were made illegal because of the Olympics, I think. And she was jacked. Like, I mean, the women that were going through the industry back when you were, they didn't really look like the ones nowadays, right?
I think I was talking about the girls on the Olympic team.
Yeah, it was a swimmer. You
Yeah,
called her,
swimmer.
yeah, you call her Aqua Woman.
Yeah, these fucking broads were like, the bigger ones were anywhere from 5'8" to 6 foot, and their shoulders were as wide as mine, and they had no tits, big asses, big thighs, and they looked just like men.
Yeah, I'm a tit guy. Bishop is an ass guy. We were discussing this yesterday. And so I mean, in a lot of ways, I'm enjoying the scenery here, but it's a look but don't touch kind of scenario. I don't want to meet any of these people, you know. Okay, so one of my favorite things that you've done, and I'm sure you've been asked about this a whole lot, your strongman competition with Tony Atlas. Now, at that time, you're working with a black guy, Tony Atlas. Was there what was his life like? Your interactions with him at that time, working in Mid-South with a guy like Tony?
Let's say it'd be 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. One day I'm walking down the motel, the second floor. I'm walking down, and he had his door open, so I look in. Kenny, come on in, come on in. He had 4 or 5, maybe 6 black girls, and you know what they were getting ready for.
Stepping on him, I think he's a big foot
Yeah,
person, isn't he? Yeah.
He would lay down on the floor, and they would walk on his face. And sometimes he even let them keep their tennis shoes on, but usually he had to take their tennis shoes off and walk on with socks or barefoot.
Yeah.
And he loved that.
Did you ever ask him like what is up with that?
Yeah, I asked him a couple of times. He that was just a fetish, and I didn't realize that there are a lot of people in this world that have weird, that's not kinky. I mean, when he has them take their underwear off and sit on his face.
I don't know if you've heard what Vince McMahon has been accused of, but there's a lot more kinkier stuff that you could be doing than getting people stepping on you, right?
Yeah, I'm sure. I think uh did he shit on some girl's head?
Oh yeah,
Fuck.
I know. Now, does that surprise you about him?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because when I ran around with Vince back in 76, 77, 78, that was my first run in the WWF, and he was just the TV announcer at the time. He didn't have any control or anything because Vince had four partners: Phil Zacco, Willie Gilsenberg, Arnold
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnie Skolin,
Skolin, yeah.
and Rilla Monsoon.
That's
Those
right.
four.
Yeah.
And they were with him until, till the end. And those are the four guys that, or no, Willie Gilsenberg had passed away. He was in his 90s. But shit, Phil Zacco was in his late 80s, I think.
Mm.
And then, of course, Monsoon and Arnie Skolin passed away shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
And so anyway,
Vince didn't seem like he was the type to be sort of kinky, I guess, from what you could see. He was
not
sort of
around
straight
those
laced.
guys.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
they were old-timers.
Yeah.
They wouldn't tolerate that type of behavior.
Well, it's barely tolerated now, it turns
Yeah,
out. You can't even be at it now.
I don't put up that shit.
No. Pun intended? Nothing. We're talking about Vince pooping on people, you know?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I would never think of peeing on somebody or shitting on somebody or.
I don't get it either. I mean, it really does make Tony Atlas look fairly normal comparatively,
Oh, yeah.
doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, Tony's very normal with just having girls walk on his face and on his chest and stuff with bare feet.
Yeah.
I mean, big deal,
I mean, and that was sort of fairly commonplace. And I've seen that again, reading your book here, Ken Patera, Weight of the World, great read. You had your share of ladies as well. But it all started off, one of the first things I read in here, it all kicked off with a little bout of mono that you got that resulted in you and your coach getting into a bit of a tiff. He thought you weren't working hard enough.
Yeah, that was, I think I was a sophomore in high school.
Mm.
And I'd contracted mononucleosis from my girlfriend. And she didn't have any symptoms or anything.
Yeah.
But I got mono from my girlfriend. And God, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I lost weight. Let's say I weighed about 170, 180 maybe. And I lost like 15, 20 pounds in a week.
Yeah. Wow.
And all my strength, and I couldn't keep anything down. And I told my mom, and my mom asked me, well, if I had the flu or something. I said, I think I probably do. But then it just kept going on and on, So after a week, my mom took me to the medical clinic and they ran tests on me. And the doctor confirmed that I had mononucleosis.
And he ratted you out right in front of your mom, right then and there, hey?
You what?
He ratted you out like he told on you?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, where's so your mom now, she sees that that her young Kenny is getting into shenanigans.
Yeah.
Read later that you would have a number of encounters with women where they're just basically throwing themselves at you. Do you think it had a lot to do with your amazing hairstyle that you had throughout the 70s? I mean, and you dyed that thing. It was fantastic. And even now, as an 80-year-old man, you got more head of hair than I do. And Bishop, I'm very, very jealous of it. The fro, did you find that the ladies were down with the Afro?
No, not really.
No?
No, but at that stage in my life, I had a normal haircut. Usually I had a crew cut.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't till later that I always had kinky hair,
Yeah.
you know, tight, and a lot of it. I had a full head of hair, man.
Yeah.
And so when I was wrestling, I just let the shit grow,
Yeah.
and it grew.
Oh yeah.
And like in the World's Strongest Men contest, when they filmed that, I must have had an afro that was 8 inches long. You know, I mean, the hair was sticking out 8 inches on each side.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
That's a lot of girth.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of hair. And yeah, the girls liked that. I don't know why. I didn't particularly care for it, but I did it because I was a wrestler, and I thought it'd be cool, it'd be different.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was. It was a good look. Did you do anything in high school? I know you did a lot of athletics, but of course, like when you're getting into pro wrestling, there's a lot of theatrics about it, and the promo, and you've cut a lot of amazing stuff. You're a great talker. Did that come naturally to you, or is that something that you were like not really looking forward to when you got into the business?
Yeah, it's amazing that I was always an introvert. I was never an extrovert. I always, introvert. I always kept to myself, and mostly, and I didn't have a lot of friends, but I had, my core would be about 5, 6, 7 guys that I ran around with all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and then everybody had a girlfriend. And I had a girlfriend, Pat McDuffie, a little Irish girl, and so it was just one of those things, you know.
Yeah, you just sort of had charisma.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like I said, I was an introvert. But when I get in front of a crowd or in front of a microphone, I just enjoy talking. And so I just ramble on like I'm doing now. But yeah, it came natural to me.
Yeah. Interesting, yeah, and my friend Oates, who I got the book for, we loved your promo that you cut. I think it was in the WWF where you talked about being attacked down a dimly lit corridor. I don't know if you remember. It's just one of those lines that we keep on repeating back to each other.
4 weeks ago, a month ago, I was leaving an arena going down a corridor that was dimly lit.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. I want to sort of get into a little bit about your comfort in being a heel. And then this might be a bit weird. It's not like it's not a big. It's not more about wrestling. It's more about you. Um, what do you think about people? Like, what do you think about the world? Do you find do you find that you have a chip on your shoulder? Do you like people generally?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, the thing is, if I'm around people that are kind of have a cocky attitude or think that they're better than somebody else, that just rubs me the wrong way. I can't stand to be around people like that. People that might be talking down to other people or talking down to a group of people. I just can't tolerate that. That irks me to no end.
And did you ever, so you never had a problem speaking your mind to people or standing up or telling people what you thought about them?
Yeah, no, when I see, if I'm in, let's say I'm in a high school cafeteria, 1961, and some guy in there that's like 6'4", he's bad mouthing 4 or 5 little guys that don't deserve anything like that, and then with me getting up and asking the guy to knock it off, you don't have to talk to those kids like that, just, go about your pace.
I'm surprised because
Yeah.
that's totally a good guy move,
Yeah.
right?
And then he come back at me with that attitude, that he was better than everybody else. And if we didn't like it, especially if Ken Patera didn't like it, I could go fuck myself. Otherwise, he's gonna beat the shit out of me. And so less than a minute later, I had just I warned him, and then I sort of I hit that motherfucker so hard, I knocked him right out of his shoes. His shoes were right there on the ground.
Nice. And I guess, I mean, that's the end of that, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
back down.
But, like me, the next day, I didn't have a car or anything, at that stage of the game. I took the bus over to his house. He lived about 10 miles away. I took the bus over to his house and apologized to him. Yeah,
This is good guy stuff. Are you going to do an audio version of this?
I've been thinking about it.
I think it would be awesome.
Yeah, I have to wait and see what the final, after a year, what kind of sales actually, I don't know. How many books, I'm selling books, Amazon selling books.
Yeah.
I have 2 or 3, or Kenny Casanova, he wrote the book. And
Yeah, who is that? Who is Kenny Casanova? That sounds like it's a working name. Yeah. Is he in the wrestling business
yeah,
or?
he was downstairs this morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I didn't see him down
He's
there.
from Albany, New York.
Okay.
Yeah, he's written, he wrote Tito's book and Kamala.
Yeah.
So he's written about 9, maybe 10 books for other guys.
And so he came to you, I guess, did he? Or did you decide you wanted to write a book?
Somebody knew him that knew me. And so he called me and I said, well, I'll give it some thought. And so about another week goes by, I called him, I said, I think I'd like to have you write my book. He says, I'd love to. And he said, I've already done a lot of research on you and everything. Well, another week goes by. And he says that he didn't realize that he had another commitment. He had already, but I hired a guy that he's never written a book before, but I think that he'll really do a good job. I said, okay, we'll give him a shot. And so Kenny Casanova, he eventually finished the book though, because this kid that he had hired to do the book originally, 4 fucking years had gone by.
Oh, wow. So this has been more than 4 years in the making then,
Yeah.
is it? Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was going to ask, like, why now did you think it was the time to do it? But I guess you thought 4 years plus ago was the time.
Yeah, so and he told me that he could finish it in a year.
Yeah.
4 years later, I called him, I said, George, I'm not putting up with this shit anymore. I said, you're off the book. I've called Kenny and he's gonna take it over and finish it. Well, Kenny finished it in 6 weeks.
Wow. And so what was the process with that? Is he just interviewing you kind of like this? Like you're telling him stories?
Well, he had gotten all of George's notes. And because after 4 years, you have a lot of notes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And because I talked to him every Wednesday for an hour, hour and a half. And that went on for the first 2 years. And then, he had problems. His father-in-law had health problems. Then one of his kids had problems. And
It's one of these guys that always got an excuse, right?
There you
Yeah.
Always had an excuse. And that went on for over a year. And I just, one time I didn't talk to him for 3-4 months. I said, well, fuck. We're going to hell in a handbasket fast. I said, I gotta make a switch here. I gotta get from underneath this.
Yeah.
And I said, well, and he promised to send me updated notes on a regular basis, which never happened.
Yeah.
And so I said, fuck this. So
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the things that I've been seeing in the industry is that you come across a lot of shysters, right? A lot of people that make promises, don't follow through. A lot of people that are, saying they'll do things and then disappear and stuff like that. It's tricky to navigate it. You've been doing this for so long.
yeah.
And it been successful, and then left on your own terms. You went on to have another career after this.
Oh, yeah.
And so what do you think about wrestling these days? Or do you even think about wrestling at all?
Yeah, I tell you the truth, I really don't give it any thought. I was with a friend all day long, and he's retired now, but he was a stockbroker. And he was an avid WWF and ECW. He followed them all. And, he's married and has a couple kids. I said, Jeff, when do you get time to watch all this shit? Because, I was in the fucking thing for 20 years and I don't watch it anymore because I just don't want to make time.
Yeah.
And so anyway, but he's a big New York Rangers fan, a big hockey fan.
Yeah.
He knows every hockey team. He knows all the players, all the all-stars in Canada and the United States. Shit, even in Russia and Poland, all those places, the Czechoslovakia, they have ice hockey teams.
Yep.
And so, stuff like that.
Do you follow any sports at all?
Not really.
No?
No, not really. When I was growing up, one of my heroes was Wilt Chamberlain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oscar Robinson, Elgin Baylor.
Now that's an obscure one. I don't know the last one.
Elgin Baylor?
No, never heard of him.
He played oh God.
Is he a basketball guy or football guy?
Yeah.
Basketball?
Basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played for Gonzaga.
Yeah. Okay, I know the school, yeah.
It's always been a good basketball school for years and years.
Yeah, even to this day, I think.
Up around Seattle.
Gonzaga, I'm not sure. I don't know, to be honest with you. I'm not sure.
I'm not.
Yeah. So, as somebody that has had a career that has gone from, the span of so many years, what do you think about the world in general now? Do you think the world, you said moments ago, it's all going to a hell in a handbasket? You're talking about your book, but the world, what do you think when you venture out and you see people? Do you think we're going in the right direction, or were things better back in the day?
Oh, much better back in the day, but like they got Russia supposedly invading
Ukraine.
the Ukraine. Well, fuck, the Ukraine was part of Russia for hundreds of years.
True. Yeah.
I mean, so what the fuck?
Yeah.
If they feel like United States, let's say, wanted to take
Mexico or Canada, even.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Mexico or Canada.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
it's the story of history, isn't it?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
People that are conquered and those that do the conquering. And but that thing with the Ukraine, and they fuck, I don't know what you think of who's the president now. Biden.
Yeah.
I can't even think of his name half the time because it's just an insult.
Yeah.
And here's a guy that fucking had trouble graduating from law school and tells everybody that he was an honor student and he was the top of his class. And he did that through his political career of 50 years of lying.
Yes.
He lied literally about everything.
Yeah.
And these fucking people, they let themselves get bamboozled and taken to the cleaners and thinking that this guy is just an honorable man.
Yeah.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah. So elections coming up, I can imagine you're not going to be casting your vote to reelect Mr. Biden. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Do you think that a return of Trump would be as good as his first time around, or yeah, you think it'd be better?
Never a politician, so when he became president the first time,
Yeah.
he didn't realize that Washington was full of sharks and snakes and alligators and fruits and nuts.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
He had no idea.
Yeah.
Well, he had an idea, but he didn't realize how deep it went.
Well, I mean, every day on the news, you were finding a new story. They were just promoting what everything he said was just magnified. So
Yeah.
that's what he was dealing with. And also, I think the culture has changed a bit more now that people are kind of tired of cancel culture, that he might be more successful now. He's not going to have to deal with that stuff as much, maybe.
Culture, what a crock of shit.
Do you think you would have been canceled back in your day if that was around?
I don't think I could have been canceled.
No? Why not?
No, because I talk.
Mm.
There's a guy. I really, his name's Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
I think he has a twin brother, and they're from the UK.
Yeah.
And he's run into a lot of problems because he started off with nothing and wound up became very wealthy, like $150 million, He has all these nice cars and mansions, and he lives in countries that nobody knows, like Romania.
Yeah. That's where he's in jail now there, is he? Yeah.
And so how in the hell did he wind up in jail? I guarantee you the fucking politicians in Canada and the United States is why he's in jail.
He made his money off of a lot of his money with doing sort of self-help advice for young men.
Exactly.
Is that something you think that you would have been able to do in a different life?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I would have. No, I don't know how successful I would have been. But I think I could have plowed through that environment pretty successfully.
Yeah. Would you give any advice to the young men today? Ken Patera's advice to young men?
Oh, boy. Keep your dick in your pants and be careful of the women that you run around with, because 90% of them are they're not good. They're not good people. They think if they can get a man to support them and where they don't have to do anything, that's bad. Bad.
Yeah, they don't want that.
Well, women have to be able to stand on their own 2 feet,
Mm.
and be successful. They don't need a man to,
Provide, do it.
Yeah,
do it for 'em.
hang on to.
Yeah. Trans women, are they real women, do you think? What are your thoughts on trans women?
There are some to myself, the land of fruits and nuts.
I'm with you, Mr. Patera.
Very sad.
So one last thing, and it's about again in your book. I want to talk a bit about alcoholism, which I know, I mean, you're drinking a beer, it's not a big deal now. But you say in your book that you had been an alcoholic.
Oh, yeah.
And I am in recovery. I'm a recovering alcoholic.
Okay.
Year and a bit. You want to
What
say
now?
a year and a bit, like a year and
Oh,
a
I
bit
see.
without drinking.
Okay.
You want to tell me a good job or something?
Good job, Pat.
You don't care. I want to hear Mr. Ken Patera say
Well,
good job for not drinking for a year and a half.
It's dependent on your attitude. I mean, fuck, who am I to tell you that you're doing a good job?
You're Ken Patera.
Yeah,
That's who you are.
doesn't mean jack to me.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I want to know about your own thoughts of alcoholism. Like, when did you think that you were an alcoholic? What was going on? Is it something that you took care of and it's fine now? What are your thoughts on the whole deal?
Well, the thing is, I never depended on alcohol.
Mm.
I liked alcohol. I liked the effect. I liked the high. It was like somebody smoking pot all day. I like to drink all day. And, it's, I refer to it as my vice. Your vice is smoking dope. My vice is drinking beer or any alcohol. I never liked wine, so I stayed away.
Heartburn.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
I never liked wine. I liked hard liquor and beer. And I guess the first time I realized I might have a drinking problem was when I was in college.
Wow.
Yeah, I got drunk the first time when I was 13.
Mm.
My older brother Jack, he playing for the Baltimore Colts, and he come home after the season, him and his wife, and they had a big Christmas party for my parents and all us younger kids, and they had a punch bowl. Well, I got punched. Yeah.
That was the first time. It was when you were 13. Yeah.
Yeah, I was 13, man. I went out on the front porch and puked my guts out. And my sister came out and says, "That'll teach you." She was 10 years older than me.
Mm.
"That'll teach you, Kenny, I told you not to drink so much." And I think I had 4 or 5 glasses of the punch. Wow.
Wow. My
Yeah.
God, you started off strong, huh?
Yeah, it was a big punch bowl.
Oh, awesome. Well, again, thank you very much. I know you got a plane to catch to head back to Minnesota. Thank you so much for chatting. It's great. Ken Patera, Way of the World, available on Amazon. Hopefully an audio version coming out if enough people go out and buy this thing. It's a great read. Again, like, I only got this today. You see how much reference I did to it? I was referred to it a bunch.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm a pro.
Or they could go to my website.
Go to the website. What's the website, sir?
Well, kenpatera.com.
There you go. Beautiful. And one more time, you're proud of me for not drinking for about a year and a half, right?
Yes, I am. I'm very proud of you. That is, if you're not nipping in between.
Completely dry, sir.
Okay,
It's all or nothing for me.
You're a good man.
Thank you.
I could never do that.
You get into it, it's fine.
As I slowly got older, I would slowly just geared back. I'm having a beer now.
Yeah, usually, I mean, I wouldn't be, if I did that, we'd have a good time, but I'd be gone.
Yeah, see,
I wouldn't be making my flight back on Monday.
Yeah, I never did that. If I could drink or not drink.
Yeah, see, yeah.
But when I drank, oh, Fuck.
Who's the like the biggest alcoholic that you in the wrestling business?
Oh, Andre.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andre the Giant.
Like I barely asked you about wrestling. I barely asked you about like Andre the Giant or Hulk Hogan. What do you think about Hulk Hogan? He's the guy that you had the second most amount of matches with.
Yeah, well, over 300. I had over 600 matches with Andre.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you believe that? I thought it was around 450, 500. And I was playing cribbage with Andre one day. I said, Andre, what was your favorite subject in high school? And he said, math. I said, fuck, I knew it. Because he'd win 60% of the matches.
Yeah.
You know, cribbage matches.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Cribbage matches.
But you did you did get him in a wrestling match too, right? You came out that too? Yeah. That's right.
I body slammed him several times.
Yeah.
You know, then Vince McMahon tries to make it like Hulk Hogan was the first guy to body slam Andre.
Bullshit.
Oh, a bunch of bullshit.
Fucking promoters doing whatever to get $1.
Fuck McMahon. Can I say that? Fuck McMahon.
I think, yeah.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah. Agreed. Piece of shit. Yeah. I guess just Hulk Hogan. I'm a big fan of Hulk Hogan. A lot of people have their issues with him, politician behind the scenes. How did you find working with him?
I liked him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked, I always called him Terry. But you know how he got his name? I gave him his name.
Really?
Yeah.
Do tell.
We're wrestling the AWA. We're doing promos at the AWA studio. Channel 9, I think it was. And so I'm on there talking to Marty O'Neill, or no, Gene Okerlund had taken Marty's place. And I said, Hulkster, see if I can remember this shit. It's only been about, what, 40 years?
Significant, though.
Hulkster, I'm gonna start calling you Hulkster because I'm gonna slam you into that dumpster. And God, it's been so long.
That's gold right there. You just stop right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna slam you into that dumpster.
Yeah, and anyway, and then it within a week or two, he started calling himself the Hulkster.
You should have said, you know, said I want 5% of everything now.
Yeah.
All the Hulkster merchandise, all of the Python talk. My God, you should have kept some of that stuff for you.
Yeah, I put all that stuff together, but yeah, I had my own, but I always helped everybody I could help that had potential. I helped. I didn't have no problem with that.
Yeah. Because I mean, especially back in the day, it's if Hulk Hogan draws a good house, everybody eats.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, sir. You got to hit a plane. Thank you, Ken Patera, Weight of the World. Everything I've heard about you has been fantastic. You live up to it. If you go to a convention and you see Ken Patera, buy the book. Thank you. Can I get what is it? What was she going to say? You're watching the BWF Wrestling Podcast?